Guys, welcome back to Precision Rifle Network. So today I have something completely different. It's not uncommon for companies to reach out to larger YouTube channels. Mine's not large, but it's big enough for companies to be reaching out and offering to send products over for review. Usually it's firearm related, right? Specifically precision rifle related stuff. But this time it happens to be an e-bike. And you know, you've probably seen it on a few of the popular YouTube channels recently. So I imagine a number of these e-bike companies are just trying to expand and reach out to various different markets and whatnot. But I said yes because of this particular one. Has a very cool camouflage pattern on it, and I thought, you know, it would be really good for hunting and fishing pursuits, and that fits in with the outdoors, you know, preparation mindset that I have. Plus, I really like the idea of having a completely silent or close to silent option of mobility, just in terms of being a prepared citizen, right? And so Mokwheel is the name of this one, and the model is called the Basalt. First off, I just got it. I have not spent a lot of time with it, but I will give you my honest opinion based on the time that I have spent with it. And a lot of the B-roll that you're going to be seeing here over the top of this talking head video is my son Nate, my adult son Nate, who is riding it around so that I can film him. And just for perspective, Nate is 6'2", and he weighs about 210 pounds. If that gives you any idea of just the size and how it looks as he's riding it, and you'll see him go up some pretty steep hills, and with the pedal assist and all that kind of stuff, this thing's pretty powerful and carries him right up. So let me just kind of launch in with some of the initial specifications about the Mokwheel. Now they come in two different models of the Basalt. There's the Basalt, and then there's the Basalt ST. ST stands for step through. So it doesn't have the high crossbar. Now the one we have has the high crossbar on it, so you got to swing your leg over. As far as the fit of this bike, there aren't different frame sizes, but it fits from anywhere from 5'6" person all the way up to a 6'8" person. Now I'm about 6 foot. My son is 6'2", as I said. My wife is like 5'10". She rode on it just fine. My youngest son is closer to that 5'6" mark. Being the smallest for this bike, and it was a bit too much for him to handle. So just to give you some perspective on that. Let's see, on the specifications. The reach is 16.5 inches. That's the distance from the saddle to the handlebars. The standover height is 29.3 inches. The wheelbase, 45.7 inches. Minimum saddle height is 33.3 inches. Maximum saddle height, 42.3 inches. Total length, 74.6 inches. Handlebar height, 43.8. Seat tube, 18.9 inches. Plenty of room, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, just from personal perspective, I actually like the geometry of the bike. It fits just like a normal mountain bike fits. It's really good that it has a similar geometry to what people are used to riding. Plus, when you're talking about riding something off-road, you want to have a very positive control over the bike. You don't want a bike that forces you to be too far to the rear of it, or it's so aggressive that you're way out over the front tire. It keeps you at a neutral position, and actually I had no issues with this bike in that regard. Like the geometry of it is it's just good. As far as the battery, I want to go over some of the technical specs. The battery is a Samsung 48 volt, 19.6 amp hour battery. The charger is a 3 amp standard, you know, plug it into a wall. You don't need a three prong. It's just works off the two. Took about 4 hours or so to charge it when I charged it, and that was not from empty. That was probably down to about 25%, and took around 4 hours to get up to full. Again, we haven't ran it completely all the way out yet, so I'm not really sure on that. So this is a Class 3 e-bike, meaning that it goes up to, let's see, a 750 watt rear hub motor that you can govern out at a top speed of 20 miles an hour. So if you live in a place that has those types of specifications out on the trails that you want to ride, you can tune it to that, and it'll pass all those qualifications. You can also override those, and it'll do up to about 28 miles per hour. Now, I'm 6 foot, 250 pounds, 255, 57, fine. It got up to about 26 miles per hour with me on it on flat ground. And that is without pedaling, that's just motor alone. So I can confirm that it does pretty close to what it says that it'll do. The overall weight of the bike is 80 pounds by itself. The stated range is 60 to 80 miles. Now, I got to think that's with an average weight person like my son on it versus a heavy dude like myself, although the payload capacity of this bike is 400 pounds. So it should be able to do that 60 to 80 miles at full payload capacity, in my opinion. We haven't tested it yet. Again, the motor, 48 volt, 750 watt brushless rear hub motor. It has ample power. Again, Nate, 6'2", 210 whatever pounds, and we were going up some pretty steep hills today with no trouble at all. I mean, obviously you have to use the pedal assist. The motor isn't powerful enough to carry you up all by itself on the steepest terrain, but using that motor like that, no issues whatsoever. It was good. In fact, I was surprised, and quiet still. I want to give you some of the rundown on some of this. So tires, 26x4 puncture resistant fat tires, LED display, Tektro HD E350 hydraulic disc brakes front and rear. Chain is a KMC stainless. Crank set, 44 tooth aluminum alloy. It has 7-speed Shimano rear derailleur set. Front fork is 110 millimeter adjustable suspension. I will pause there for a second. It does have settings for damping and rebound, and they actually work. Some of these forks, not this kind obviously, but some of these forks that I've ran into, maybe they're cheaper quality or something like that, but you turn those dials, you really can't tell if they're actually doing anything. These were high enough quality that when you made adjustments to that dampening and recoil on the front forks, you could tell that it was actually working as they were supposed to. So that was nice. The frame is 6061 aluminum alloy. Gearing, Shimano 7-speed. Thumb throttle is on the left-hand side, which is a little hard for me to get used to when I was, always had a twist throttle on real dirt bikes or a right-hand thumb throttle on quads. And then you go to an e-bike and it's a left-hand one, but it's actually not bad. Actually not bad at all. It's got a kickstand, rims are aluminum alloy, saddle is leather. It's got torque sensors, and it gives the specs for all the spokes here, which I'm assuming you guys could care less about. So really, all in all, this thing is great. I think for the guy who wants to get out and just kind of adventure around with it, it's super fun and it's enjoyable. Like, the health benefits are there too. Right, like, I'm not in the best shape, but an e-bike helps me to get out into some varied terrain that I wouldn't normally be able to get out into, just because of, an inability to pedal up really steep hills. Well, an e-bike with a pedal assist allows you to stay on the bike and actually be pedaling more often and longer distances because it does assist you a little bit. So, and it just makes it, the motor makes it a little bit more fun to ride, right? You can just use the motor sometimes if you want, or you can be pedaling. And what that translates into is more time on the bike, more time in the saddle, because it's actually enjoyable to be out there. I'm the average dude that says, heck yeah, give me the motor. Absolutely, it's super fun. I like being on the bike. That makes it enjoyable. If I enjoy a thing, chances are I'm gonna ride it more and more. So this is good in terms of just recreational enjoyment and also health benefits, right? And then of course, you've got the benefit of using an e-bike for hunting. And this is really kind of this is the angle we came at it from, because we thought, yeah, we've got a lot of public ground around here in Missouri. And in Missouri, those class 3, whatever they are, up to 750 watt motor e-bikes are allowed on public ground. the guy that's walking into public ground he's going to walk in a half mile, maybe a mile at the most, when it comes to, you know, hunting or fishing or something like that. So for the guy that has an e-bike that can sneak in there quiet like and can go a lot further into that public ground, you're going to have a lot of access that other guys aren't willing to go to those lengths to get that kind of access. So e-bike is super beneficial in that sense. And yeah, it just opens up a lot of options for hunting areas and fishing areas that would otherwise be inaccessible just because of the sheer distance and how far you have to carry all your gear in, right? You can get little trailers that mount, you know, back behind these types of e-bikes that will actually carry your deer back out of the woods for you. And they are powerful enough to do that on everything except the steepest of hills. But obviously, if you just kept the bike in a low gear, you were pulling a trailer with a deer on behind it, and you had to walk up a hill, it would do it with you walking next to it, right? That's a heck of a lot better than dragging a deer out by hand for 2 or 3 miles. So there's something to be said about that. Also, you know, obviously there's the silent part of it. Now, you guys are probably thinking about all the same things that I'm thinking about, especially if you have night vision, right? Like, I didn't put the headlight on this bike intentionally. I will be disconnecting the brake light on purpose. We'll be taking all of the reflectors off of this bike. Now it has a lot of safety features like a headlight, like a tail light, like reflective piping around the sides of the tires, like all the reflectors that are good if you're going to be riding the thing, you know, on the street and you want to be safety conscious and all those kinds of things, especially in a big city. But for those of us that maybe have other motives in mind, nothing bad, nothing nefarious or anything like that, just a well-prepared citizen with night vision. That's all I'm going to say. You guys know where I'm going with it, and it would be super fun. And if you had a way to charge an e-bike like this, these can be charged with solar power, so you can recharge your e-bike off of the sun and its renewable energy source, and you can just get some running around done, you know, down the road to the person that you're going to barter something with for food or whatever else it might be. It's a really viable option for mobility for a prepared citizen. Really like that, right? And, you know, there's just also the idea of being quieter in the woods, especially when it comes to hunting. And also just for the enjoyment of being in the woods and not having to hear the roar of a motorcycle motor or an ATV motor or smell the smell of exhaust. None of those things exist when it comes to an e-bike. So just a lot of benefits, guys. And I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. Just hit it up. Go check them out. I think you might be surprised for what you get, the quality that you get, and the durability and the ability to go up hills and to go dirt, you know, pretty fast. Like, again, I'm not a professional e-bike salesman here, guys, but I know that when we've been riding this thing around the last couple of days, I know what it's done, what it's been capable of, and we have not babied it in any sense. And it has kept right up, and it's held a charge, and it's just done what it was supposed to do, and I've been very impressed. So hit that link up, go check them out, and you know, if you end up purchasing one through the link, shout me out. Let me know if you got one and what you plan to do with it. That'd be pretty cool. So thanks for watching today, guys. Hopefully you got something out of this. At least consider something like this in your preparedness mindset, right? Like, have another mobility option besides your gas-powered vehicle. I think it's wise. That's all I'm going to say. So thanks to Mokwheel for sending this bike over. Definitely appreciate it. It is fun. My family has been enjoying it and will continue to enjoy it into the future. Might end up buying some more of them. So hit that subscribe button, guys. Check out the description below the video for links to all of our affiliate links, and come back soon for another great video from Precision Rifle Network.